What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Kakis, and today we are going to be taking a look at the best PvE build in all of Destiny 2. Now, I normally don't like to do this because obviously the best build is going to depend on what class you're on, what activity you're doing, etc. However, with the current meta, I think there's one build that is clearly above the rest. One build that is absolutely phenomenal when you're doing normal activities, strikes, battlegrounds, etc., and scales all the way up to the utter endgame, especially with master raids coming very soon. A lot of people want to know, hey, what is the most meta, most viable build for endgame activities? It's this one. There's some S tier builds out there, but this is the only God tier build right now, and that of course is the Starfire Protocol Warlock. Now, if you've been playing Starfire Protocol, in this video we're going to be going extremely in depth, talking about exactly what you want to use and when you want to use it, offering alternatives depending on the activity, as well as some future proofing for different seasons. So I think, again, even if you've been running this build, you're going to learn new things in this video. And if you want an easy place to copy down this build, thanks to my partnership with mobilytics, you can just click the link in the description. Mobilytics is a data-driven companion app designed to help players improve at their favorite games, and they're expanding into Destiny 2. So you can use them to find tier lists, god rolls, build guides, and more all in one place, including the complete build guide to this video. Click the link and you won't even need to watch the rest of the video. Wait, I don't think I thought this one through. Anyways, guys, if you want to learn more and why we're picking what we are, let's continue. So, the centerpiece of this build is of course the Starfire Protocol. Fusion grenades have an additional charge and recharge from empowered weapon damage. Fusion grenade kills grant rift energy. The reason this is so darn good is that if you're doing empowered weapon damage, your grenades are coming back so fast that you can spam them over and over again, doing some of the highest DPS numbers in the entire game to a singular target. And against adds, obviously having nearly infinite grenades is pretty amazing too. But moving on from there to our actual class abilities, we first want Well of Radiance as our super. The reason is that if you're standing in here, that counts as empowered weapon damage, so your grenades are going to be coming back insanely fast. Likewise, we want Empowering Rift for that empowered weapon damage. After that, I'm going with Incinerator Snap. However, if you like Celestial Fire, you can use that instead. And then of course we have Fusion Grenades. But then for our aspects, we have Touch of Flame to actually make our Fusion Grenades explode twice to do even more damage. Then I have Icarus Dash. It's just personal preference. You can use Heat Rises if you really want. But moving on to the fragments, firstly, we have Ember of Ashes to give us more Scorch stacks. Obviously, because our fusion grenades actually cause Scorch, this just means we have way more ignition explosions and therefore way more damage output. Then a new one, Ember of Resolve. Solar Grenade Final Blows cure you. This build has traditionally had a little bit of a problem with survivability. If you're not standing in your Well of Radiance, I mean, you're giving up your healing rift for an empowered rift, so you can kind of get into trouble with the adds. Ember of Resolve does a huge amount to solve that, and it means that when you're slaying out on adds with your grenades, you're constantly getting health. After that, we have Ember of Searing. Defeating scorched targets grants melee energy and creates a fire sprite. Fire sprites were just added into the game with Lightfall, and they grant grenade energy on pickup. So you get grenade kills, which are going to scorch targets, you then spawn fire sprites, you pick them up, you get more grenade energy. So incredibly synergistic here. And then lastly, we have Ember of Torches. Powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant, improving your damage output. So this combines very well with Ember of Searing and the increased melee energy it grants, and it's just generally one of the strongest solar fragments in the entire game. However, if you find that you're not really using this too much, and you want more survivability, you can swap it for Ember of Mercy, where picking up those fire sprites will grant restoration as well. Very, very powerful. But guys, moving on from there to the weapons, firstly, you want a Witherhoard. Now, this is not just because the Witherhoard is one of the best PvE exotics in the entire game, it's because it provides tick damage, or damage over time to a singular target. And this means that when you're, for example, standing in your well, you can hit the boss with your Wither Horde, and it's going to constantly damage them again and again and again, and that is just going to automatically refill your grenades incredibly fast. Again, just exactly what you want within this build. However, only one Wither Horde will actually tick on a singular target, which means if you have a teammate also running this build and they're using a Wither Horde, it's actually better if you switch to something like, for example, the Anarchy, and that's going to give you that tick damage that you're really looking for and not interfere with your teammate's Wither Horde. Moving on from there, we are going to be using an Unforgiven. A little bit weird that we're using a void weapon here, but the reason is simply because of the seasonal artifact mods with Volatile Flow, Bricks from Beyond, and void weapon channeling are so powerful, you're really just making a mistake if you're not getting the most of those. And the Unforgiven here has Demolitionist to give us our grenades back more often, and Adrenaline Junkie, which basically has 100% uptime because we're throwing so many grenades. It's exactly what you want here. But something like a Funnel Web also with Adrenaline Junkie is fantastic. Guys, again, this is because of the seasonal artifact. The second this season ends and these unbelievably powerful void bonuses go away, you're actually going to want to switch to something like a Callous Mini Tool with Incandescent, and obviously that is going to play right into those Scorch bonuses that we went over within our subclass, so keep that in mind. Then moving on from there, for our heavy, you want a rocket launcher with Demolitionist. This is unbelievably powerful with this build, and it lets us shoot a rocket and throw our fusion grenade and get another rocket back. Now, after that point, if you throw another grenade, often Demolitionist won't trigger. It has a bit of a cooldown, so that's when you switch to your Wither Horde, apply another stack, go back to your rocket, and then you can have the kind of double trigger of Demolitionist again. Now, you're combining that with, you want Impact Casing for more damage, Boss Spec for more damage, and in this case we have Chill Clip, and we're using the bump in the night here because this is craftable. Chill Clip is actually going to do a ton of damage against a singular target because when you hit that target twice, they will freeze and then shatter, and that shatter damage will really add up. However, guys, Chill Clip actually has diminishing returns. You don't want everyone on the team using a Chill Clip rocket launcher, but rather one person doing all the shattering. So if someone's already using one, you can definitely switch to, for example, something like the Hothead with Demo plus Vorpal Weapon for just more damage. And in fact, you can actually craft your bump in the night to have Vorpal instead of Chill Clip. So one person using Chill Clip, that's going to be the most DPS. The second person wants to use something other than Chill Clip if they're also running this build. Moving on from there, guys, taking a look at the mods here. When we have the helmet, I have double Ashes to Assets, just unbelievable for getting your super back. Like, you are able to spam well so much. You can have it up for essentially the entire activity, it feels like, as long as you're slaying out with your grenades. I also have Font of Wisdom to give me even more intellect, like 3 intellect charges, 3 intellect tiers when I'm armor charged, so absolutely fantastic. Then moving on from there, I've got a double firepower, and this is my way of spawning orbs of power. I'm just getting so many grenade kills, I'm getting tons of orbs, and double is going to make them even more beneficial to getting my super energy back. I also have momentum transfer to get my melee more often for all of that grenade damage. After that, guys, we are going to be running concussive dampener, harmonic resistance, and arc resistance, like whatever resistances depending on the activity you're doing, obviously. Then for my legs, I am going to be running stasis weapon surge. So this is kind of important here, and this is why we're actually not going to be running a grenade kickstart. So some builds would recommend this. However, this means that yes, you're going to get your grenades back more often, but when you throw your grenades, your armor charge is reduced to 0, and that's not actually ideal if we are relying on stasis weapon surge to make our rocket launcher do a ridiculous amount of damage. Now, obviously, if I was using the arc hothead, I'd be using arc weapon surge, so It's whatever weapon surge is matching your heavy weapon, and that's how we're going to be able to just absolutely destroy stuff like raid bosses, etc. If you're doing an activity like a battlegrounds or a strike, you can, put on a void weapon surge to get more primary weapon damage. You can kind of spread things out a little bit more, but again, when we're absolutely, going hard, we want the double weapon surge for our actual heavy weapon so it does the most damage possible. And lastly, guys, we have double time dilation. Obviously, we want that increase to our stasis weapon damage to be up for as long as possible, and that's where we need these. And then we have one bomber, so hey, you get your grenade back more often when you're using your class ability, and obviously we're spamming our empowered rifts like all the time, so this is just fantastic here. And as for the stats, I like to prioritize discipline, resilience, and recovery. And so guys, there you have it. The reason this build is so good, the reason it is the overall best build, is because it does everything. Ad clearing, it's unbelievable. You have essentially unlimited grenades, and when they're boosted as much as they are with the build, exploding twice, etc., they are very good at clearing out low-level ads. Then, single target DPS. It's arguably the highest possible DPS you can achieve consistently, and team support, putting down your Well of Radiance as often as you are, because we're getting all that super energy back thanks to our build. It just means that your entire team is benefiting from you using this build. It really does it all, and it is absolutely going to be one of the main things people are using when those master difficulty raids roll around. Guys, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.